Good morning, everyone. My name is Mark Anthony S. Paloma, and I am from Pedro Guevara Memorial National High School of Santa Cruz District, Division of Laguna. Welcome to Grade 10 Technical Drafting NC2 class. Let's learn how to plot the bearings or site coordinates. This time, I will demonstrate how to plot the bearings or site coordinates. Are you class ready? Pay attention. As you can see here, I already prepared the title block, which will be used as our worksheet for our lat plotting. I included in one side the cardinal directions, which are north, south, east, and west. On the other side of the paper, I made a technical description. In this technical description table, you will see three columns. One is for the line, the other for the bearings, and the last one for the distance. In drawing, line is defined as movement of a point. So based from example, we have point 1 to point 2, that's our first line, point 2 to point 3, our second line, point 3 to point 4, our third line, and point 4 to point 1, or the point of beginning, which is the last line. For the bearings, we have the following example. By the way, when we say bearings, these are the angle of the lines in relation to cardinal direction. So we have, for the first line, we have north, 15 degrees, 30 minutes going to east. For the second line, we have east, 48 degrees, going to 40 minutes south. For third line, we have south, 49 degrees, 50 minutes west. And for last line, we have west, 25 degrees, 20 minutes going to the north part. For the last column, we have the distance. And distance is actually the length of lines. In this example, for the first line, we have a distance of 7 meters. For the second line, we have the distance of 11 meters. For the third line, we have the distance of 9 meters. And for the fourth line, we have the distance of 7 meters. To begin with our lat plotting, we need to prepare the following drawing tools, instruments, and materials. And what are those? First, we have the masking tape. Then, we have the drawing paper. The third one, we have an eraser. We also need the most important tool, which is the pencil. Next is none other than a protractor. And the last one, we need a ruler. Now that our drawing tools, instruments, and materials are prepared, I think we can start our lat plotting. But don't get too excited because we need to make sure that we follow these important reminders that I'm going to tell each and every one of you. First, in positioning the protractor, you have to make sure that it is in vertical position. Patayo. Vertical position, either facing the west or facing the east. Again, it is important to position your protractor in a vertical, patayo na posisyon. Don't forget that. Second, in drawing a point, because we're going to have a lot plotting here, point is not made of dot. In drawing, point is made of tiny, like this, tiny vertical and horizontal lines. So that's our point. So it's a tiny intersecting lines. Did you get that? Okay. I think we are now ready to perform lot plotting. Lot or plot is a parcel of land that is owned by someone or meant to be owned by someone. You may wonder, you may ask, where did we get this information here? Especially the bearings and the distance. I'll show you this source. This is what we call transfer certificate of title, where you can find all those information in our technical description. Let's get started. Let us begin with our point of beginning or point 1. We're going to draw a point, but again, this is not a dot, but made of tiny intersecting lines as what we have discussed earlier. So I'm going to locate my first point. So here, I'm going to draw a tiny vertical and tiny horizontal line. That will serve as my first point, the intersection. So I'm going to mark it 1. Using your protractor, we have the bearing of north, 15 degrees, 30 minutes east. Yes, our protractor is going to east. So the placement should be like this, in a vertical position facing the east part. The given degree is 15 degrees. So where can we find 15 degrees? We have the middle or the center of 10 and 20 degrees, that is 15. So mark it. The given distance for the point of beginning from point 1 to point 2 is 7 meters. So since we're using scale 1 is to 100, 7 meters is equals to 7 centimeters. Make sure that you draw the first line with 7 centimeters. This is now our point 2. So we're going to draw a tiny intersecting lines. Then you may label it point 2. Our given bearing for the second point going to the third point is east, 48 degrees, 40 minutes going to south, with a distance of 11 meters. Or, using the scale 1 is to 100, that is 11 centimeters. So how are you going to place the protractor? Since we're going to south, this is our placement of the protractor. Using the intersecting lines on point 2, we're going to mark 48 degrees. So where can we find 48 degrees? In between 40 and 50 degrees. Near the 50 degrees. And we're going to draw a line measuring 11 centimeters. So, from point 2 going to point 3 is measuring 11 centimeters. Now, that will serve as our point 3. So, again, we're going to draw a tiny intersecting lines and label it as point 3. For point 3 to point 4, the bearings are south 49 degrees, 50 minutes west, and the distance is 9 meters on the actual. And again, since we are using the scale 1 is to 100, that will be 9 centimeters. So let's first look at the degree. So since our position is going to west, our protractor is placed like this. From point 3, like that. Then, it's 49 degrees. So again, in between 40 to 50, little near 50 degrees. Then we're going to measure 9 centimeters from point 3 to point 4. That's it. And the last point is point 4 to the point of beginning, which is 1, with the bearings of west 25 degrees and 20 minutes north, with a distance of 7 meters or 7 centimeters if we are using the scale 1 is to 100. Since we're facing north, going to north, our placement for that, let's first make our intersecting line at that point and mark it as point 4. Then measure the degree. That's the placement of our protractor. 25 degrees, in between 20 and 30. Now we're going to enclose the lot plot from point 4 to point 1 with a distance of 7 centimeters. So that is our lot plot.